people, the name says it all, Auditory Hotness. And today, we're talking Coast Contra and their debut LP, Apartment 505. So before we dig into the album, let's talk a little bit about Coast Contra. They are composed of brothers Raz and Taj Austin, who happen to be the sons of legendary MC Raz Kaz and singer Teeandra Moses. They're from Los Angeles, California. You have Rio Luz, who's a Colombian-born MC, and Eric Jamal from Philadelphia. Apartment 505 is being released on Area 51 Music, and there are production credits on this album to the following: Anthony Chapman, Jansport J, and Jay Pettiford. So please ask yourself, are you a fan of hip-hop groups? And we are going to talk about this. All eras, genres, and styles of hip-hop, and albums that have an ever-changing sounds and influences to them. And if so, stick around, because we are about to dig into our 5-step review process. Step 1, the album cover. So the album cover here, the 4 MCs in the apartment, has a throwback feel to it, but also is really important, specifically when you're talking about the name of the album being Apartment 505, and we're going to get into that in a minute. Step 2, track listings times. Here are the track listings running right now for Apartment 505. You can see there's a couple of features on there, but mostly we are talking about the members of Coast Contra showing off throughout the course of this album, which is 17 tracks long. It's coming in at 50 minutes, and you get an average song length of 2 minutes and 55 seconds. So it is a little bit of a longer album at 50 minutes. Ooh, the important part, my key takeaways. Coast Contra in Apartment 505 is what happens when you take 4 talented MCs from varied backgrounds and have varied influences and have them live together, Apartment 505, and work together at My 2 Cents restaurant. And because of that, they have this unified, harmonized sound that you can only get as a band or a group when you're spending most of your time together. Now, I don't want to spend too much time on the group. I want to get into the music, but if you're interested in finding out more about Coast Contra, there is a great interview from KXSC. I'll put the link in the description below. But like I was saying, when you have 4 musicians come together, this is the result. You definitely have a unification as a group. It doesn't just sound like a number of MCs that went into the studio together. They're working collaboratively to create these songs. So due to their varied backgrounds, you got LA, Philadelphia, Colombia all represented here. You have a number of different influences, genres, and styles that are represented on this album. However, you can't help but draw comparisons to some of the great hip-hop groups of the past. You're talking A Tribe Called Quest, Jungle Boys, De La Soul. You are for sure going to hear those influences on this album. And personally, I think that those comparisons are warranted because they're really paying homage in an updated version to those groups. Key takeaway 2.5, it's time to subscribe. We're up to 50 subscribers right now. It doesn't seem like much, but thank you very much. Let's get it up to 100. 3, Apartment 505 has a youthfulness to it that is really exciting, really engaging, and it just comes across as having a very fun element to it. Now that youthfulness definitely has kind of that grimy youthfulness that we've all gone through. However, that makes this album fun. Plus, they are so talented as individual MCs that bringing them together is really exciting, really talented. They cover a number of differing styles and genres, and even Rio Luz bringing in some of these Latin influences is awesome. 4, the lyrical content on this album is really diverse, very sophisticated. These are very smart and thoughtful raps. And although you may draw comparisons to A Tribe Called Quest and De La Soul, these raps to my ears are most certainly a little bit more streetwise and gritty, and I love those groups. And 5, I love the live banter that is found throughout this album, like the intro specifically, which we'll talk about in a second. It really makes me want to go see them live, and it's exciting, and they sound as unified on a live stage as they do on this album. And we all know that the live show is what makes a great act. Give me those hot tracks, baby. With Apartment 505 being 17 tracks long, you may just be looking to pull a few to see if you'd be interested in the rest of the album. And if you are, let me suggest the following. Check out tracks 1 and 2, which is Apartment, the intro, and the second track, Get the Worm. The intro is one of those parts I was just talking about where they embed the live performance. It's a very cool opener for sure. And then Get the Worm has an awesome beat to it. I love the horns. And this is also a really great example of their harmonized vocals. There's a Cream reference here, which is just one of many references to old school hip hop. So I love that connection there, especially because they kind of have that sound. Track 6, Pimp and Benjamin. This one's got a little nod to Black Sheep. It's got a very familiar beat to it. If you're into old school hip hop, you'll like this track for sure. Track 9, Legacy. Apartment 505 isn't all throwback hip hop. There are certainly updated tracks, and this album sorts through a number of different genres and areas of music, and Legacy is a great example of that. And then track 15, Family. I love the beat on this one. I love the flow. I love the rotating vocal delivery on here. Really cool track. When am I going to listen to this? So here's some suggested listening times for Apartment 505. I think this would be a great album to just put on in the car, cruise around, maybe smoke a little bit. At 50 minutes, it's a really nice length album to kind of go on a cruise like that. House party. Maybe after you drop the kids off at school, you need a little something to decompress. This would be a good one. And I want to be very clear, I did none of those things. I just listened in a pair of headphones. It was awesome. And finally, if you like Coast Contra and Apartment 505, please check out the following. We got 2 Peas in a Pod, which is a new one from Jay Worthy, Larry June, and London Drugs, which is producer Sean House. This one we are also going to be reviewing, so tune in for that one. And then Denzel Curry and his newest, Melt My Eyes, See Your Future. We're going to be reviewing that one as well. And both of those albums have this throwback hip-hop sound that you are also going to find on Apartment 505 by Coast Contra. So please go check this album out. Really exciting, fresh. Dig it, man. Just different. So come back every day at Auditory Hotness. That's what I'm trying to do. Give you different type of albums and music to choose from. And we'll see you tomorrow. Peace.